Namaskar to all, I am Dr. Kilash and today we will draw a plant cell. So, when we draw a plant cell, we must remember the details that it is a eukaryotic cell. And see, when we are drawing a plant cell or animal cell or a prokaryotic cell, we need to draw in class 8 science, in class 9 science, and in class 11th biology, if we talk about NCERT syllabus. Otherwise, if you are studying science biology, we need details of cells every time. So if we want to study biology, we must know about the cells. And while drawing cells, one thing we must remember that it is not a presentation of art, or we are not drawing things realistically. We are using only symbols to convey our understanding to our examiner. So first, any cell, if it is a prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell, we have a boundary. But when we are trying to make a plant cell, we keep in our mind, okay, it is a cell which have cell wall also. So if we start with boundary, so we must draw like this. So we must have cell wall also. So these are symbols we are using for making a cell wall. And simply we can make square shape also, rectangle shape also, or hexagonal shape also. It all depends on us. So simply we are making a boundary with double lines to show the examiner, okay, this is a cell wall, not a cell membrane. Then we can use another line also, one more line, if you want to label plasma membrane also. And this shows the difference between plant cell and animal cell. That animal cell only have cell membrane, which I am drawing right now, and plant cell have both cell membrane and cell wall. So this is the difference between plant cell and animal cell. And being a eukaryotic cell, plants have a nucleus. So when we talk about nucleus, it is a spherical structure, but I am drawing here this continuous lines. Why? Because the membrane of a nucleus have some pores, some holes. And one more thing is there. There is another cell organelle which is called endoplasmic reticulum. So before drawing any scientific diagram, we must know the details of that diagram. So we can attach one or two endoplasmic reticulums to show that, okay, they are nuclear membrane extensions. This is how we can draw. And one more difference between plant cell and animal cell is that a plant cell have a large central vacuole, so we must draw a vacuole also. So here with these details, anybody can understand, okay, we are showing a plant cell, not an animal cell, because it is clearly visible that, okay, it is having cell wall and it is having cell vacuole, plant cell vacuole. Now comes cell organelles. So while making this, it is clear that, okay, it is a eukaryotic cell first thing, because it is having a nucleus and membrane bound compartments. So we need more membrane bound compartments. So one common membrane bound compartment is mitochondria, very easy to draw. We can make one or more mitochondrion. So singular term is mitochondrion, plural term is mitochondria. Then we can draw chloroplast, which is important. Why? Because chloroplast is the cell organelle which only plant cells have, not animal cells. So this is how we can draw a symbolic chloroplast. So now it is very clear. So and we can see in this diagram many differences also between plant cell and animal cell: the cell wall, cell vacuole, and the chloroplast. And now we can draw another cell organelles. For example, here we can draw a Golgi body. So we always keep in mind that we must not draw those structures which we do not know, we cannot label, and it makes our diagram clear also, and the examiner understand clearly while seeing the diagram, okay, we can describe this diagram or not. So here we have other patches of endoplasmic reticulum which are not attached with nucleus. So we need more endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now we need ribosomes because they are needed for protein synthesis. So we can, so I am choosing this small dot to represent ribosome, but I will also draw some small points to show cytoplasm. So these are ribosomes, and we can find ribosomes on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, and this type of endoplasmic reticulum is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. So we can represent by this figure, and rough endoplasmic reticulum may be attached on the surface of the nucleus. So this is how we can draw. Now in nucleus we know that it have chromatin fiber, and one more cell organelle or the structure, we not cell organelle, the structure we can show is nucleolus. Nucleolus is a compartment in nucleus which is the site of assembly of ribosome. So we can draw a rough meshwork like this, completely random, you can make it random. So now we can label this cell. So there are so many structures, you can draw more, but if you do not if you are not able to label it, please do not draw, because there is no sense of making that structure, and we need that diagram which helps us understanding the biology or the plant cell, plus which is helpful in our examination. So I am teaching biology from 11 years, and I am teaching all the classes from class 6 to class 12th science. So I know how to, I cannot say I know, but yes, I have experience to check copies and giving marks, and I know what I want from my students. So yes, now when it comes to labeling, everything must be very clear. So first thing, we must label what it is. So first thing we can write here figure. This mistake I notice every time. Students do not write about the diagram. So this is the sketch of the plant cell. It is a plant cell. Plant cell. You can simply write plant cell. It is a plant cell. Okay. Now we can label these cell organelles. So first, mitochondrion. You can write mitochondria also. Mitochondria means plural, mitochondrion singular, because I am labeling only one mitochondrion. We can make one more chloroplast here. So there are so many chloroplasts in a plant cell. Chloroplast. So we can label like this. It is a chloroplast. Now we have these ribosomes spread in the cytoplasm. Ribosome. Okay. Now it is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now this endoplasmic reticulum is not having ribosomes on its surface, so we can write it smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now we have nucleus. We can write here simply nucleus, or we can write nuclear envelope. It depends on us. If you can write simply nucleus, and these are the parts of nucleus. So nuclear membrane, nucleolus, you can label these things also. And it is a vacuole. This is the large central vacuole, so we can label this also. Make it, sometimes if it is very messy, then you can label here also, but try to label only one side. So we'll try here, and I am marking these arrows, so make it clear. Sometimes lines mix, and when we label diagrams, we are not able to see what we are labeling. So here is vacuole, and this is cell wall, which is very important to label. Cell wall we can label here also. Actually I am holding my mobile on in my one hand, that is why it is moving. Cell wall, it is cell wall. And because when I made this line to show that okay, plant cells have cell wall plus they have cell membrane also, because sometimes students get confused. Okay, plant cell is having a cell wall and animal cell do not have or doesn't have cell wall. So they confuse the okay, cell membrane is there. They think that okay, cell membrane is only in animal cells. So that is why we must label clearly. Okay, this is also in cell wall. Now it is Golgi body. Or Golgi apparatus, we can write anything. So this is how we can add more. So how many cell organisms are there, but do not make a rough. So sometimes we have diagrams in books and there are so many structures drawn, but we are not able to identify them. Yes, and you can make small dots smaller than ribosomes. We must remember, if you are labeling ribosomes, so they must be clearly visible. So you can simply touch your pen. So those points will be very small, and because I made ribosomes deliberately spherical, so you can clearly see okay, this is something different. So here we can write cytoplasm or cytosol. See, there are so many details if you want to fill, depends on for what you are making the diagram, for class 8th, for class 9th, or for class 11th. So here we can write cytoplasm. Otherwise one thing is there, it's cytosol actually, because cytoplasm includes this liquid plus all cell organisms. So when you come in higher classes, you study more, there is clarity in your concepts, so you can add more things. So this diagram will be sufficient for class 9th, definitely sufficient for class 8, more than sufficient for class 8, and yes, it will solve the purpose of class 11th also. So and lysosomes, see, we can add lysosomes also, but what I think that when we differentiate plant cell and animal cell, we can write okay, that okay, animal cells have lysosomes and plant cells don't, although they can have sometime, but this also clears our mind. So I will not draw lysosomes. So I think I have labeled all the important things. So this video is longer than I expected, because I want to show only how to draw a plant cell, but drawing plant cell, drawing an animal cell, or sketching a prokaryotic cell, there are some topics being intertwined. Knowledge of plant cell, knowledge of animal cell, knowledge of prokaryotic cell, difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, and difference between plant cell and animal cell, and name of all cell organisms. So all these topics are interrelated. So I will make more videos on other cells also and the differences also. Thank you so much for watching.